The troop doesn't only talk about a raiding band, but interestingly, the troop also describes the trench that armies build around themselves. One of the strategies of battle in the days of David is that when an army has camped and they wanted to defend themselves, they will dig a trench around, a deep trench, gutter around it themselves. So when you want to attack them and you see the trench, you stop, because for you to come against them, you have to go down the trench. And when you go down the trench, you are an easy target for arrows. So when people see a trench, they stop. A trench is also called a troop. And David says, by my God, I ran through a troop. In other words, when people say that this is a place nobody can survive, I go in there and I survive because I have the boldness of God to go against the troop. Listen, life can sometimes be a very dangerous expedition. And if you just want to dwell in safety, you don't like trouble, you don't like to do anything great, you will live life, but you will not be happy with the outcome. Because trouble will not trouble you, and you will not trouble trouble. You will end up having accumulated years, but achieving very little. Because to achieve something, most of the time, you're going to go against a trench. You're going to go against a system that has been designed so you cannot survive. But by my God, I run through a troop. Whether it's a raiding band or it's a trench, by my God, I go against it. And that's what David says. We can break through all barriers. And then he says, by my God, I can leap over a wall. I can rise above all limitations. The idea here is that of a deer that springs high. A springbok deer. You know, it just jumps, boom, and it jumps over a wall. And then David says, by my God, I can spring over walls. I can leap over walls. Whatever the walls are, we can rise above them. We can rise above the walls of racism. We can rise above the walls of segregation, the walls of inferiority, the walls of poverty. Because one of the challenges every black person deals with is racism. It's inferiority complex. And many times, even when you can do mighty things, you see people and their skin color, and sometimes you feel you cannot achieve much. But David says, by my God, I can rise above the wall. Whatever society has erected against you, you can rise above it. If you are a woman, you can rise above every limitation imposed on womanhood. For you to know that your survival and your quality of life is not dependent on a man. You cannot say, as for me, I want to marry a rich man. Then you are by inference saying, I cannot be rich by myself. Why do you want to marry a rich man? What do you want? As if the man doesn't have money, me, I don't have time for him, or I don't have time for him, but you have time for yourself. Your broke self, you have time for your broke self. No. It's okay. I mean, sometimes, watch African movies, and sometimes it's so demeaning, the kind of narratives we have in our movies, like a woman is struggling in life, and then a rich man is driving by his car, stops, and then he says, I will buy your eggs for you, and and then one Lisa, and then he marries the man, and then her life changes. I said, what kind of nonsense is that? What kind of nonsense is that? Are you trying to tell me that without a benevolent man, a woman cannot be successful? That's African nonsense. Please don't buy into that. Listen to me, women. By your God. By your God. By your God. You can rise above limitations. You can succeed by yourself. You can buy your car by yourself. You can buy your iPhone 15 by yourself. You can own your house by yourself. You can own your business by yourself. You can employ people by yourself. Then you can look for a broke man and marry him. Somebody say, by my God. By my God. By my God. By my God. No matter what life hands to me, I beat my chest. I beat my chest. And I say, by my God. By my God. I will not die in this battle. I will not die on this battlefield. By my God. I will face that Goliath. By my God, I will run against a troop. Somebody say, by my God. And that's how David is telling us boldness works. That God makes us bold. You may be quiet, but inside you there must be a volcanic power that is rising and bubbling. Everybody looks at you and say, oh, he's nothing. He can't do anything. But there is a volcano inside of you. Something inside of you say, by my God, I can go against the troop. By my God, I can leap over walls. By my God, I will not be limited. By my God, I will rise above the limitation. By my God. This kind of boldness is not timid. It's not shy. This kind of boldness makes you take on big challenges. This kind of boldness is not seeking for popularity and acceptance. This kind of boldness is not waiting for friends on Facebook. If you are fickle and you have a low self-esteem, you cannot be this kind of bold. So David says, in my moment of trouble, I cried to God. And all he did was he made me bold with strength in my soul. And then he says, now go and fix the problem. He made me bold with strength in my soul. I pray that God will make you bold with strength in your soul. Whatever troop is coming against you, don't lie down and cry and let it crush you. Don't sit down and let the trouble come and destroy you. You say that God, make me bold with strength.